Thank you so much. It's so good that you're all here to share this wonderful event with us today. My job today right now is to do the call to action. And so first I'd just like to say, you know, this movement is on fire. Rachel and I know in August and the earlier part of this month, every week in Iowa, there was a local foods forum. Every week in some city in Iowa. And we're just getting started. I mean, this is just beginning. And of course, our legislators, they full well know that this is what people want. I don't know if you're familiar, but earlier this month, Secretary Bill Sack announced, there's a brand new campaign called Know Your Farmer. And basically, you know, they're providing grants to spur this local foods movement, to encourage school systems and whatnot to, you know, take local food into the system and you know, basically just, you know, so that it blesses our children. I just wanted to say that starting off, but I kind of divided this up into three segments. You know, first I look at it like, for me it's kind of following the chakras, if you're not familiar, but to thine own self be true. So being true to ourselves means really just paying attention to what we're eating and being conscious, being very conscious about it. So for me, you know, change begins with ourselves. And you know, we can start by making little simple steps, like reading labels in the grocery store. You know, knowing, you know, trying to really understand what is in our food, and is it something that will bless our bodies and provide us, you know, make us healthier. And you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you this is ironic for me. We've been working on food as an issue within PACG for a little over a year, and I just recently found out that I am gluten allergic. So this issue of food, and the irony for me is that this is probably what's caused my arthritis for 17 years. So, I mean, it's not funny, but I just think it's ironic that you know, we come full circle, and to learn. I've had to learn so much now. I spend a lot of time reading labels. And so I wanted to also mention that we have this handy little non-GMO shopping guide that's on the resource tables. And this brings up, we wouldn't know, there's been a bill before Congress for 8 years. They don't want to label our food, frankly. They do not want to label our food. They don't want us to know what's in the food, which is, it's just egregious. So please make sure you pick one of these up if you haven't already. It's broken out by brand name and by food group. So it's very easy. And then you'll just at least have an idea, because it's not going to say genetically modified on the label. It's just not. Also, we have a social justice movie night every month. We've been focusing on food. It's the third Friday of every month in the Davenport Unitarian Church. And in October, we will feature a film called You're Eating What? By Jeffrey Smith. He wrote Seeds of Deception, and it really gives you a very in-depth look on genetically modified organisms. The other thing that we can do on a personal level is learn what foods are in season in our area, and then try to build your diet around that by going to shopping at the nearby farmers markets and supermarkets that sell local food. If you do go to the supermarket, always ask them, be in the habit, do you have local produce? And I think if enough people are doing that, it'll plant its own seed. Same thing with restaurants, area restaurants. Ask the manager or the chef how much food on the menu is locally grown, and just encourage them to source more locally grown food. And then encourage your politicians, your local politicians, to form a food policy council or the like that will help to promote farmers markets, develop a local foods directory, and to get fresh local food into the schools and cafeterias. That includes hospitals, nursing homes, senior centers, any place basically that feeds people. If you really want to challenge yourself, our good friend Kathy little friends, next time you go shopping, buy extra quantities of food and experiment But it's a step in the right direction. The second component, of course, is being in a relationship with each other and what we can do together. One of the things that we heard earlier in some of the workshops, and Gary and Jim also mentioned, play with dollars close to home and watch your community grow. It is a matter of economic development for us, and farmers being the heart of rural communities, they're in danger of fading away. Our family farmers. 5 years ago, I heard that 70% of family farms would be turning over within the next 10 to 15 years. And if that happens, if people don't want to farm, then ultimately it's going to end up being bought up by corporate farmers, and changes. What we're striving to do is not going to be possible. So to encourage others to maybe consider farming. We had a gentleman call who was actually doing just that. He called to register for the summit. He got an inheritance and wanted to learn as much as he could, so that he could be empowered with the right information and do some organic gardening. That was his goal. I just want to share a couple statistics with you. I only got a few minutes, but this was really interesting. Family farms are, as we all know, they're the bedrock of communities all across our country, but since 1935, the U.S. has lost 4.7 million farms. Fewer than 1 million Americans now claim farming as a primary occupation. So that's substantial. That is very substantial. In 2002, they earned their lowest real net cash income since 1940. Meanwhile, of course, corporate agribusiness profits have nearly doubled. They've increased 98%, in fact, since 1990. Large corporations increasingly dominate the food production. 4 large firms control over 80% of beef slaughter, 60% of pork packing, and 50% of broiler chicken production. We need to turn that around. Local family farmers, on the other hand, they spend their money with the local merchants. They reinvest in the community. The money stays in town where it benefits everyone and helps to build the local economy. Independent family-owned farms